Thank you. Dear student friends, I am Dr. Godbole Mahendra Tukaram, welcoming you all again in my today's presentation. And the today's presentation is based on the polity. It is a part of the Indian Constitution. Many times the UPSC NDA examination or the committee of the UPSC NDA examination, especially the framers of the questions, they are going to frequently asking near about 8 to 12 question on the area of this polity. Therefore, the knowledge of the polity or the Indian Constitution, the silent feature of the Indian Constitution, the different articles, especially the fundamental articles is the thrust area where the many questions is arising. Election Commission, fundamental duties also sometimes is the thrust area for asking a different questions. Now, the presentations is based on the different historical background of the Constitution. But let me clear one point before starting my presentation. This presentation will be not only fruitful for the UPSC aspirants or the motivated students, those who are looking to qualify the UPSC NDA examination as well as the civil services examination, but this lecture will be fruitful for the university students, those who are going to preparing for the political science, as well as it also be helpful for the students those who are going to preparing for the schooling examination, both for the state and the CBSE board. This examination will be, this area will be important for to increase the rank of the students. These are the four important components on which I am going to professing in my today's presentation. The most important syllabus we can call for that UPSC. This the first is the background or the historical background of the Indian Constitution. The Indian Constitution, it was not a one-day product. It has been evolved periodically right from the 1973 to 1958. Different rules and statutes and the companies rules and regulations were included in the syllabus. But after the cope of the the Indian armed personnel, especially from in Barakpur and right from the revolt of the 1858, right from the 1957, the part of the administrations goes in the hand of the government of the British or the council of the Britishers or the parliament of the British, means the king or the queens were going to handling the administration of the Indian subcontinent, and the companies influence in the the supply of the goods or the trade of the Indian subcontinent has been banned at a certain extent. The Parliament of the British has given the authorities and rights to the companies administrations only up to the selling of the coffee and the selling of the coffee, as well as the trade with the China. Apart from those two concepts or those two limited areas, the company was restricted to do the business in the Indian subcontinent. Therefore, this rule, the company rule, the company rules we may call it as it has been restricted by the crown rule. And since the enactment of the crown rule right from the 1858 to 1947, the Indian subcontinent was under the total control of the crown rules or the parliament of the British. And later on, the different acts were passed by them. The Government of the India Act 1935, the most of the part or the many concepts or the many administrative the part has been taken by the framer of the Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, from the 1935. The Indian Independence Act is also important, that is 1947. Then making of the Constitution, the Constituent Assembly has been established on the December 9, 1946. the committee has been started to work on the writing of the constitution, and many sessions were conducted by the council or the committee of the framing of the constitution, right from the December 1946 to 1949, especially the 26th November 1949, the 26th November 1949, it is supposed to be the enactment of the constitution day, while the 26th January is supposed to be, the earlier day was an adaptation and it is an enactment of the constitution. Then global borrowers, that the Indian constitution is having different relations with the foreign countries. Then preamble. The preamble of the constitution is supposed to be most important, and it is, can the preamble of the Indian constitution will be amended? Yes, the preamble of the Indian constitution has been it is an amended, and the many words has been included in that. The 2-3 words like the socialist, secular, and democratic republic. The Indian constitution is supposed to be a most important preamble, and it is a mirror of the constitution, and that mirror of the constitution is going to giving the guarantee as to how the justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, and the amendments of and the landmark to these classes. While talking about the silent feature of the Indian Constitution, since the Indian Constitution is supposed to be a longest drawn documents, or it is the longest written constitutions on this land, and the framer of the Constitution has been adopted or has been referred near about the 60 known popular working constitutions of the world, and this is why it becomes and the jurist Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was known as the the father of the constitution. He has framed the constitutions by during, although he was not feeling well, but since in such a condition also he has not given up and he has written the same constitution. The Indian constitution is a blend of the rigidity and the flexibility. That is the most important silent feature of the Indian constitution. Let us take an example. During the war, since the president of the India is supposed to be the supreme authority, and during any hostile condition, the Indian subcontinent or the Indian peoples may defend for their sovereignty, and many times the Indian constitutions may show the flexibility also. Therefore, the Indian constitution, it is known as the QC federal. It is a QC federal model. That QC federal means either it is a partially rigid or partially flexible, because the Indian constitution is commencing in many powers and authorities to the state government, while the union government is supreme at many point of time. While talking about the federal and the unitary, Indian constitution is it is having another important silent feature, that is a unitary federal. Unitary federal in the sense of the union government is at the center, and even the certain state like Maharashtra, UP, Bihar, Gujarat, and those states are also having their own authorities. Therefore, the central is going to giving the flexibility, and those flexibility may be and there are the different matters, maybe the state or the that is the center matters can be have a flexibility. The parliamentarian government, the Indian government is a parliamentarian government and independent judiciary, because the Indian constitution is having 3 pillars. Those are the legislature, judiciary, and the lawmakers. Therefore, the Indian constitution is having an important part. So while talking about the fundamental duties and fundamental rights, especially the fundamental rights may start from the article number 12. The article number 12 decide, or it may define the what is the state, what is the union, or what is the government. The government offices detail is given in the article number 12. Article number 13 is going to professing about the zeroing or the previous existing laws and regulations and statutes cannot be work. Therefore, the Indian constitution's rules may be started. And right from the article number 13 followed by the 14, the article number 14 is going to talking and professing about the equality. But even in equality, there may be another principle, that is to equate among the unequals. Equate to the unequals. For the equating to the unequal means the right or the scheme of the reservation has been adopted from this article number 14. Article number 15 is going to professing about the states. State can't state can't it cannot discriminate. State cannot discriminate on the basis of the sex, place of the birth, profession, sexual orientations. All those points are supposed to be none or null for the discrimination. So no person can be discriminated on the basis of such a kind of the things. So those article number 16 and article number 17 is going to abolishing the untouchability. Untouchability was a very worst form of the social of that practice. It was abolished by the Indian Constitution, and that all the things we will discuss in detail about the fundamental rights, and followed by the article number 12 to article number 30, article number 51A, after article number 51 and article number 51A is a fundamental duties. We will discuss in next lecture. The article number 30 up to article number 1 to article number 35, those are the fundamental rights. Article number 12 to 35 are the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights we will discuss, and later on article number 36 followed by the article number 51. Those all are supposed to be the directive state policies, directive states of the policies, of the directive principles of the state and policies. Directive principles of the state and policies are not foreseeable to the law, but the fundamental rights are the foreseeable to the law. If the state is going to discriminating, or if any organization is going to discriminating on the basis of any reason, then any individuals may be approached to the Supreme Court or the High Court or the concerned court. But if as far as the case of the DPSP, that is the directive principles of the state and policy, we cannot approach to the court. Thank you. Remaining portion we will discuss in next lecture. सर्व शिकवतात ना, काय करायचं तुला? बस की काय काम आहे सांग की.
फिफाचा स्कोर चेक करायचा होता.
हा?
फिफाचा स्कोर चेक करायचा होता.
मोबाईलवर करून